Good day, everyone. This is Engineer Eric G. Awao, a doctoral student of Ateneo de Davao University. Today, I will be discussing the two of the important topics of the environmental hydrodynamics, the turbulent mixing and dispersion. For our objectives, first is we should be able to explain the physical principles behind turbulent mixing and dispersion in environmental fluid flows. Second, to differentiate turbulent mixing and dispersion. And lastly, apply key concepts and equations to analyze real-world mixing scenarios. For today's discussion, we will be guided with this outline. First, the key figures in turbulent mixing and dispersion. Who are those key people behind the concepts of this turbulent mixing and dispersion? Then, of course, the introduction, followed by the definition of turbulent mixing and dispersion. Then, the mathematical representation. We also have example problems and the real-world applications. So for the key figures of this turbulent mixing and dispersion concepts, we have here G.I. Taylor. His contribution is the Taylor dispersion. He developed the foundational theory for shear dispersion in laminar pipe flow. He also showed how solutes are spread by the combination of velocity shear and molecular diffusion. His work provided the mathematical basis for dispersion modeling in channel and pipe flows and remains a cornerstone of hydrodynamics and environmental fluid mechanics. Then we also have Andrei Kolmogorov on his contribution of Kolmogorov's theory of turbulence. He introduced a statistical framework to describe turbulent energy cascades. He proposed that energy is transferred from large eddies to small eddies until it is dissipated by viscosity. His theory underpins how we understand turbulent mixing and helps estimate eddy diffusivity in natural flows. The third one is Osborne Reynolds on his contribution of transition to turbulence. He introduced the concept of the Reynolds number, which predicts whether a flow will be laminar or turbulent, and pioneered early experiments and theory in turbulent flow behavior. Reynolds' work laid the groundwork for classifying flow regimes, crucial for deciding whether mixing will be dominated by laminar diffusion or turbulent mechanisms. The fourth one is Horace Lamb with his contribution on classical hydrodynamics. He authored Hydrodynamics, a foundational textbook in integrating theory on wave propagation, vorticity, and fluid dynamics. He also provided rigorous mathematical treatment of Navier-Stokes equations. His work is important because he set the stage for many analytical treatments of fluid motion, including scalar transport modeling. Then lastly, we have Joseph Bossenest. His contribution is on the turbulent transport modeling, where he developed the eddy viscosity concept, assuming turbulent momentum transport can be modeled like molecular viscosity. Also, he introduced concepts used today in Reynolds average Navier-Stokes or RANS modeling. His work is also important for his analogy allows turbulent mixing to be quantified and modeled with eddy diffusivity K sub T, which is widely used in engineering and environmental models. Now, let us go to our main discussion, the turbulent mixing and dispersion. But before that, let us have first the introduction. So, in natural and engineered water systems, substances such as pollutants, nutrients, sediments, and heat are continually introduced into fluid environments. Understanding how these substances spread and mix is essential for predicting environmental impacts, designing treatment systems, and managing water quality. Two key transport processes govern this behavior: turbulent mixing and dispersion. In other words, to manage water quality and protect the environment, we need to understand how materials like pollution and heat move through rivers, lakes, or water systems. The two most important processes that control this movement are turbulent mixing and dispersion. So, what is turbulent mixing? Turbulent mixing refers to the enhanced blending of momentum, energy, and scalar quantities, such as pollutants or heat, in a fluid flow due to turbulence. Unlike molecular diffusion, which is slow and driven by concentration gradients, turbulent mixing involves chaotic eddies that efficiently steer and homogenize the fluid. In simple terms, turbulent mixing is a fast, powerful way fluids mix because of swirling motion or turbulence. It spreads pollutants or heat much faster than the slow, natural process of molecular diffusion. As you can see in the figure, it provides a visual explanation of turbulent mixing in a fluid flow. So here's a detailed breakdown of what it tells us. The red dots on the left side, it represents scalar quantity such as pollutants, heat, salt, or nutrients. These scalar quantities are initially concentrated in a small region on the left side of the flow. In environmental fluid mechanics, scalars are substances or properties introduced into a flow field. Over time, due to both advection and turbulence, the scalar becomes more dispersed and diluted. So the role in turbulent mixing is that its goal is to model and understand how the scalar spreads, for the scalar is carried away from its source, becomes more even evenly distributed, and eventually blends uniformly with the surrounding fluid. Then the blue arrows represent the direction of the main fluid flow, and as you can see, it is moving from left to right. In many natural and engineering systems, like rivers, wind channels, or pipes, there is a dominant flow direction called the bulk or mean flow. This flow carries along scalar quantities such as pollutants, heat, or salt via a process called advection. The speed and direction of the bulk flow are described by the mean velocity field denoted as mu in fluid mechanics. So its role in turbulent mixing is that the bulk flow sets the advection path for transported substances. Without turbulence, scalar quantities would move along streamlines with only slow spreading due to molecular diffusion. However, in turbulent flow, this transport is intensified by eddy-driven mixing superimposed on the bulk flow. And the last one is the swirling arrows. These spirals indicate turbulent eddies, swirling fluid motions that occur at various scales in a turbulent flow. So these eddies steer the fluid, causing scalar quantities to spread in all directions. They are the primary drivers of this mixing. In summary, this figure visually explains how turbulent mixing works. A substance like a pollutant enters a flow, then it is carried downstream by the bulk motion of the fluid, and it is rapidly mixed and spread by the swirling action of turbulent eddies. Then the end result is a broader, more diluted, and more uniform distribution of the scalar. So for the mechanism of turbulent mixing, it operates through a cascade of eddies that work on different scales. First is the advection by large eddies, bulk transport over large distances. Second is stretching and folding. Intermediate eddies stretch scalar patches to increase gradient interfaces and diffusion by small eddies. The smallest eddies reduce gradients to a scale where molecular diffusion is effective. The mechanism of turbulent mixing is the combination of advection by the main flow and random swirling motions that steer and spread scalar quantities quickly and thoroughly across the fluid. Turbulent flows are inherently chaotic and unpredictable scales. This equation filters out the complexity by averaging the effects of turbulence, allowing us to model turbulent mixing using a diffusion-like term, predict scalar transport using macroscopic variables. The first equation is the Reynolds average advection diffusion equation for a scalar quantity in a turbulent flow, where K sub Tj is the turbulent diffusivity in the direction of J, mu sub I is the mean velocity in the direction of I, and C is the mean scalar concentration. The left-hand side of the equation is the advection, and the right-hand side is the turbulent diffusion. For the Kolmogorov scaling and eddy diffusivity equation, this expression provides an estimate of the turbulent diffusivity based on the energy dissipation rate and the eddy length scale. This means that the rate at which turbulent kinetic energy is dissipated into heat. This scaling law is derived from Kolmogorov's 1941 theory of turbulence, which assumes that turbulence is isotropic at small scales and energy cascades from large to small eddies in a predictable way. So this Kolmogorov scaling matters gives engineers and scientists a powerful tool to estimate the mixing strength without measuring every detail of the turbulence. It also helps in defining eddy viscosity and eddy diffusivity parameters for use in large-scale models like river or atmospheric models, and it links physics-based properties of the flow to scalar transport predictions. And for the sample problem, in a river, turbulence causes the effective eddy diffusivity to be estimated as K sub T, which is equal to 0.3 meters squared per second. If a pollutant is introduced at a point source, how long will it take to homogenize over a transverse width of 20 meters? So for our solution, we can estimate the mixing time using the relation T is equal to L squared over K sub T, where our L here is 20 meters in width and K sub T is equal to 0.3 meters squared per second. So our time is equal to 1,333.33 seconds, or approximately it is equal to 22.22 minutes. Then on the next topic is on the dispersion. So dispersion is the process by which a scalar quantity like a pollutant, heat, or salt spreads in a flowing fluid due to a combination of advection and diffusion. Dispersion is directionally biased and often anisotropic. In simpler terms, dispersion is how things like pollutants or heat spread out in moving water. They are carried along by the flow and also spread out due to mixing, but they spread more in the direction of flow than sideways. This dispersion happens because two of main reasons. First is the flow of the water carries the substance forward. So this is called advection. And the second one is the substance also spreads out as it moves, and this is called diffusion. And it can happen due to tiny random motions or swirling flows. So together, these cause the substance to spread faster and farther, especially in the direction of the flow. Then it doesn't spread equally in all directions, usually more forward than sideways. So for the physical mechanisms of dispersion, it arises from velocity differences within the fluid, mainly through shear dispersion or the Taylor dispersion and turbulent dispersion. For the shear dispersion, this happens in laminar or smooth flow like in pipes or slow-moving water. The fluid has a velocity profile, so it flows faster in the center and slower at the edges. And turbulent dispersion, on the other hand, happens in turbulent flow where swirling eddies mix the fluid chaotically. These eddies cause particles or substances to move around randomly and rapidly. As a result, substances spread much faster than they would by molecular diffusion. Dispersion happens because the fluid doesn't move all at one speed. Sometimes it is caused by layers of fluid moving at different speeds or the shear dispersion, and other times it caused by swirling motions in turbulent flow or in turbulent dispersion. Then this section, the 1D advection dispersion equation or ADE is one of the most important tools in environmental hydrodynamics, groundwater modeling, and pollutant transport. So these equations describe the two main transport mechanisms. The advection term represents how the scalar or say pollutant is carried along by the bulk flow of the fluid, and the dispersion term, let's say this on the right hand side of the equation, which describes how the scalar spreads out due to velocity differences and diffusion or the molecular or turbulent. The advection dispersion equation or ADE tells us how and where a substance moves in flowing water. The left-hand side equation shows it is being carried by the flow, while the right-hand side shows it spreading out or dispersion. So it is essential for predicting pollution and managing water quality. Then, this part also explains how to calculate the dispersion coefficient d sub L. This is a key quantity that tells us how fast and how far a substance spreads in a flowing fluid. The dispersion coefficient is a measure of how effectively a scalar, like a pollutant or salt, spreads in a fluid. It's like an enhanced diffusion rate that accounts for both molecular diffusion and flow-related effects. So this equation tells us that in a pipe, the scalar spreads not just because of molecular diffusion, but also due to velocity differences across the pipe radius. This formula shows that even with small d sub m, dispersion can be large if the flow is fast, mu, or the pipe is wide. So for the channel flow approximation, it tells us also that in open channels like rivers, dispersion depends on how much the velocity varies with depth, and how well the scalar mixes vertically, and larger delta U or H leads to greater dispersion. So these formulas help us calculate how quickly a substance spreads in water pipes or rivers. Then they show that dispersion depends on flow speed, depth of or radius, and how well the water mixes vertically. Then for our next sample problem, we are to find the effective longitudinal dispersion coefficient K. So we have here the given H, which is the flow depth, that is 2 meters. Then delta U is 0.4 meter per second. And D, that is the vertical diffusivity, that is equal to 0.01 meters squared per second. So substitute these values to the equation K, and then it gives us the value of K, which is 0.672 meters squared per second. And then on this table, we can say that turbulent mixing and dispersion are two-way substances like pollutants or heat spread in flowing water. So turbulent mixing works like stirring cream into coffee. Then it spreads things evenly in all directions using swirling motions called eddies. It is fast, multi-directional, and measured using something called eddy diffusivity. On the other hand, dispersion is more like ink slowly stretching out in a stream. It happens mainly because of flow differences, that is faster water in the middle and slower water at the edges, and tends to spread substances mostly along the direction of flow. So dispersion is usually slower than turbulent mixing and is measured with a dispersion coefficient, while both processes help transport substances in water as they act differently and are modeled using different equations. Then, turbulent mixing and dispersion are fundamental processes that govern how substances such as pollutants, nutrients, heat, and salinity move through natural and engineered water systems. These mechanisms are critical in understanding, predicting, and managing water quality and environmental impacts across various hydrologic settings. In this section, we can see here the real-world applications of turbulent mixing and dispersion. These concepts in environmental hydrodynamics are applicable. First, in river and stream pollution control. This is in flowing rivers and streams. Dispersion spreads pollutants along the current, while turbulent mixing helps dilute them across the flow depth and width. Then in estuarine salinity intrusion, estuaries where fresh water meets salt water experience strong stratification and complex turbulence patterns due to tides and river flow. So turbulent mixing regulates the vertical blending of saline and fresh water, while dispersion governs the horizontal spread of the salt front. Then, in coastal and oceanic pollution transport, so in an open water, pollutants from oil spills, industrial discharges, or runoff are dispersed by currents and wave-induced turbulence. Turbulent mixing distributes these contaminants vertically, while dispersion spreads them horizontally over large distances. Then in reservoir and lake management, so in lakes and reservoir, thermal and chemical stratification can trap pollutants or reduce oxygen in lower layers. So turbulent mixing, natural or artificially induced, helps redistribute heat and dissolve oxygen, while dispersion affects the movement of inflows and sediments. Then in groundwater surface water interaction, So at the interface between groundwater and surface water, turbulent mixing and small-scale dispersion control the exchange of contaminants, nutrients, and heat. Then in urban stormwater systems, stormwater carries pollutants through urban drainage systems. As flows enter open channels, rivers or retention basins, dispersion and turbulent mixing determine how these contaminants spread and dilute. Then in thermal plume management, so power plants and industries often release heated water into rivers or coastal zones. The thermal plume spreads due to dispersion and is vertically mixed by turbulence. And lastly, in wastewater reuse and reclamation. In water reuse systems, treated effluent is reintroduced into surface waters or used for irrigation. So turbulent mixing ensures thorough dilution, while dispersion predicts how far contaminants or nutrients might travel. In summary, turbulent mixing and dispersion are not just theoretical ideas. They are essential for managing environmental risks, optimizing water infrastructure, and safeguarding ecosystem health. Understanding these processes helps engineers and scientists make informed decisions in water resources management and environmental protection. Thank you.